Hello and welcome to another video here on Cruiseandcoasters. I'm Jeff, and today we have made it to the great state of New Jersey, Jackson, New Jersey to be specific, and we are at Six Flags Great Adventure. I've heard some mixed reviews of this park this season. Excited to check it out myself. We did arrive a little after park opening, and I will be honest, there's a clear lack of rides running for it being almost an hour into the operating day, but that's okay. We're here to have a Six Flags day. We're gonna make the best of it that we can. The park is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year in 2024, and excited to see what offerings the park has to celebrate their anniversary. Also excited to get on some of my favorite coasters, of course, El Toro. I've heard that King Ka has been down lately, so I think we're gonna have our first spite of the trip. A ton of B&M coasters like Nitro, Medusa, Batman to get on, and then of course, Jersey Devil coaster, the RMC single rail. So without further ado, let's head into the park. New for 2024 will be the Flash Boomerang coaster. It's a Vekoma Boomerang model that is not yet operating. This is one of my least favorite things that Six Flags has been doing lately, which is announcing a new attraction for the season, selling all of the passes, happily so, and then not opening them until Fright Fest, essentially. So yeah, it doesn't look like this thing is anywhere near ready to take guests on it. First ride of the day ended up being on Jersey Devil coaster, the park single rail RMC, and it was a pretty good ride. I will say the ride has aged pretty significantly over the last couple of years. I feel like you can feel every single track connector piece as you go by, and you're going so fast that it does become somewhat uncomfortable throughout the entire ride. But some really good airtime, especially coming off of the lift. We were in the back, we got flown out of our seat, into that dive loop was incredible. The camelback was really strong. And then what I really love is that the mid-course brakes seem to be running, like they're not catching the train as hard this year. So you're getting some really good airtime on those airtime hills on the way back to the station, which was a lot of fun. Also, this had some really great operations. They're only running 2 trains, but they are getting them out really quickly. Actually, overall, from what we've seen, this might be the park with the best operations of the trip so far. And that says a lot about what we've seen at the previous 5 parks. Took a backseat ride on Nitro, the park's B&M hypercoaster. It's a really long, fun layout, some really good airtime, nothing ejector. I would say mostly floater airtime. We rode in row 9, which is my favorite, the back row. I think the highlight of the ride is the helix going up into the mid-course. The positives on that are incredible, and the helix just never seems to end. You even gray out a little bit, which is great. It is a little hot today. We're trying to stay hydrated, but you can definitely feel it in the helix. And then you got some fun little bunny hills going into the brake run that provide some more floater airtime. I do think this ride seems to be running a little bit like Diamondback at Kings Island, and the rattle is significant. So bear that in mind. Maybe try an inner seat to have something a little bit smoother. I was on the end seat on the wheels, so I think that's why I was feeling the rattle a little bit more than usual. It seems like the heat is back with us. You guys saw at Carowinds and King's Dominion, we had some record heat index. We had some beautiful weather the last 3 days. Today, it's another hot one. It's like 90, 95 out. Just got off of Batman, back row, for a prototype inverted roller coaster. I know this isn't the first one. We will be riding the first one at Six Flags Great America in probably like a week's time, but for a prototype, this still really holds the test of time and provides an excellent experience. The vertical loops are super forceful, and I think my favorite element are the 2 flat spins. They are so whippy, especially in the back row. You just get flung over the tops of those. So much fun, a ton of force, a really good time on Batman. Time to stay hydrated. I think after 3 rides back to back, food is calling our name, and nothing sounds better than a fresh salad. That sounds delicious right now, so I think we're gonna go find a salad somewhere in the park. Okay, we did come to Granny's, and I found a crispy chicken salad with some ranch dressing. So I do have my season pass dining with my Six Flags pass, so this was free today. Well, included, I should say. After a refreshing lunch, we are headed to Skull Mountain. And if this looks familiar and you haven't been to Six Flags Great Adventure, you may have seen this in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and it had all the scenery like this. So that is pretty neat. This is also as much of Skull Mountain as I'm gonna be able to show you because it is an indoor attraction. Got off a ride on Skull Mountain. She is a little silly. So she traditionally runs like a kind of like spookier theme, but last year they overlaid it with like some techno music and lights, and now it's kind of running like both. But it's weird because with all the lights, you can see all the damage to the building, and they definitely really need to repair some work on that because the building literally looks like it could fall apart at any second. It's definitely giving Have a Six Flags Day. The ride itself is fun, it's smooth, it's enjoyable. I think it was a little bit better, to be honest, when it was darker and there wasn't as many lights, so you couldn't really see where you were going. I do like the sound, like the music that they're playing in. I thought that was quite fun. The only like other awkward thing is you could also hear the spieler in the station was connected to the indoor speakers for the ride, so you could hear her talking to the guests of the station the entire time as you were going around. So all in all, it was a pretty Six Flags dark ride. Speaking of Six Flags, I'm going to show you this fountain that's behind me. So I believe this fountain actually used to be a flat ride of some sort, and they've kind of turned it into a fountain, but they spared no expense. It's just PVC piping and like tubing from Home Depot. So, yep, this is the beautiful fountain. Has nothing on Kings Island, that's for sure. I flipped so many times on the Joker. I know we did the one at King's Dominion, and I said I like the smaller one better. I stand by that. I prefer the smaller one than these extended versions. We did a forwards flip, a backwards flip, and on like this like second half of the ride, we literally like just stayed upside down through that entire part, and I was not a fan. I did not like that one bit. Another thing to mention is, so the Flash Pass is now 100% on your phone, on your mobile device, and there's certain rides, like the Joker, you cannot bring your phone on. What's interesting is they allow you to bring your phone in the queue, and they do have a free locker that you can put your phone in. It's great that they have something set up for it. However, the execution of it is kind of silly because you actually have to go back through the Fast Pass or the Flash Pass line to get your phone again, and like basically cut a bunch of people who are in line for Flash Pass, so they don't really know that your phone's already in there. Anyway, great that they have a system. Wish they'd work through it maybe just a little bit more to make it more convenient and just a little like seeming like you're not cutting people just to go get your phone. Anyway, onward to El Toro. Holy crap, we just did 3 back-to-back rides on El Toro. This thing is an absolute beast. Before we even get into the details on the ride, I just need to give a huge shout out to Six Flags Great Adventure today. We've had a few Six Flags moments, if you know, you know. But overall, these are some of the best operations that we have seen on our entire trip. It far surpasses any other theme park that we've been to. Nitro was killing it, Batman was killing it, and this El Toro crew is like a pure example of exactly how a ride crew should be running. I feel bad that only 2 of them are on platform on a day when it's so hot, but they're absolutely killing it and getting these trains out left and right so that there is no queue and nobody is left waiting in the sun. Now the ride, we got a front row, a back row, and a middle row, and I'm so glad Six Flags Great Adventure has been putting a lot of love and effort and maintenance into this ride. I know there's been a couple of incidents, and I'm really glad that they put a lot of money into it because it's running, I think, better than it ever has, or at least in the last 5 to 10 years that I have been on it. It's running smooth. It's just excellent. It is so much fun. You can definitely tell it's still a wooden coaster. It's not as smooth as an RMC, but it's not uncomfortable like it used to be. The first 2 airtime hills after the first drop are absolutely insane. And then I think my favorite part is the final hill before you go into the zigzag section. You just get absolutely launched out of your seat. It is just absolutely fantastic. El Toro's back. I am so in love with her. She is running so well today. Got off the park's B&M floorless coaster, Medusa. Great ride on there. We were in the middle of the train. It was a little rattly, but it is one of my favorite floorless layouts. And if you didn't know, it's actually a clone of Scream at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Not really much exciting things to talk to you about this one, although all of the effects are turned off, and that was kind of a bummer. There is like some mist in the corkscrews and flamethrowers that are supposed to go off in the dive loop, and those are all completely turned off. So I do hope now, maybe with the merger, we'll see a little like more upkeep with some of the attractions, because I think that's kind of today's theme, is that some of the rides are running and the ones that have theming aren't really running with the theming. Also, Medusa is running only on 1 train, but again, the operations on this coaster are really good for only having 1 train, and the crew is doing everything they can to get it out as quickly as possible. I've been coming to Six Flags Great Adventure almost every year since like 2017, and I could not tell you a time where the log flume had been operating, which is really disappointing because on a day like today, man, I would love a log flume moment. The heat advisory has returned, but thankfully my season pass includes 1 snack, and I chose to redeem mine for a Dippin' Dot, and they have an icy flavor that is the blue raspberry and cherry. This is my favorite Dippin' Dot flavor, other than the Cool Mint Crunch, but they didn't have that today. All right, after a little bit of a cool out, we had some shade, some liquid IV, some Dippin' Dots. I think we're gonna take advantage of the park's 2 indoor attractions and do Battle League, Justice for Metropolis, and then also the Dark Knight coaster, which is an indoor wild mouse. Try to keep cool for a little bit so that we can end the evening on a couple of our favorite outdoor coasters. I would love to get on Superman, Jersey Devil again, Nitro again would be fun, and then maybe ending the night on El Toro. So let's continue on. We have 2 rides to catch you up on. First was, I think I called it Battle League. It is definitely Justice League Battle for Metropolis. A really good dark ride here at Six Flags. For the Six Flags chain, I think it's actually excellent. My only criticism is I don't think it needs to be like a shooting dark ride. I think the storyline does well enough on its own, and the animatronics are good. The special effects were all working today, which was fantastic. Had amazing AC. But yeah, I don't think it needs to be an interactive dark ride. I think that it could just be a dark ride on its own. So I just put my gun away and let the ride take me through the course, and I just enjoyed it. And then we also did the Dark Knight, which is the indoor wild mouse here. Thought we would get another second round of AC. I was wrong. I felt like a little chicken tender in an air fryer because there was absolutely no AC in that building, and I think it might have been warmer and more humid in there than it is out here. The ride itself is really fun wild mouse, super smooth, very enjoyable, just not on a hot day like today. They need some AC in there or some fans. I feel actually really bad for the team members working in the station because they don't have any fans or anything, and it is just boiling hot in there. All right, I think we have done a lot of what we wanted to do today, and the things that are left are things that are unfortunately not open today. So we are going to do another ride on the single rail Jersey Devil coaster. So Let's see if she's warmed up at all. All right, unfortunately, Jersey Devil Coaster had other plans and it is down for maintenance and it doesn't look like it's coming back up anytime soon. So we did hop onto Nitro really quickly and got a front row ride. And I'm gonna explain to you what I mean when they say have a Six Flags day. I'm gonna tell you how we're having a Six Flags day. But first, the ride. We rode front row. It's great speed, amazing airtime. That helix into the mid-course again, just absolutely killer, like almost full blackout. I would say that helix is almost more intense than some of the moments on Intimidator 305. And then just absolute unhinged, flow-jector airtime. And I rode in the center of the row and it was a lot smoother than before. It wasn't nearly as rattly. Really enjoyed it. So what does it mean to have a Six Flags day? Well, let me tell you, my friends. So we did use one of our flash passes because it does have a bit of a queue. We are getting to the point like where the Hurricane Harbor has closed, so the park is getting a little busier. We used one of our flash pass redemptions on Nitro, and the flash pass attendant's cell phone where he scanned the QR code died. And instead of just letting people through, he held us there while he just let standby go for around 10 to 15 minutes until a supervisor came to bring a battery pack. I don't blame the attendant at all. I'm sure that's what he's been trained to do, but I think it's like a clear lack of empowering your employees to do the right thing, which would be to let the flash pass line go and just make sure that their QR code was lit up green, which means it's your time to ride. We saw an older gentleman in his 40s yell at this like poor 16, 17-year-old kid who, again, clearly it's not his fault. That's what he's been trained to do. But that is just like, so come on, like use your common sense, Six Flags, just let your flash pass queue go through because you really built up a line. And then the other part was like we were getting off of Nitro and they said as we're getting off, they're like, watch your watch your step down the exit, don't step in the throw up, like instead of cleaning it up, just like letting the throw up be there. It's just like, that's the Six Flags way. I really hope with the merger, things really improve for the better and Cedar Fair takes over some of those operations because that was a moment. The heat is definitely getting to a lot of people today. I don't think we're gonna get on Jersey Devil again. Unfortunately, it looks like they've closed off the area. So I think we wanna do Superman, maybe dinner, and then a final ride on El Toro before calling it a night. Yep, sadly it looks like Jersey Devil, she's having a bit of an RMC meltdown at the moment. So I don't know if we're gonna get a last ride on it. We'll check before we leave for the night. But for now, I think we're gonna head to Superman and then El Toro and dinner at some point. Green Lantern is the park's B&M stand-up coaster and unfortunately is also closed today. So we have been spited on quite a few attractions this afternoon. But next up, Superman, the flying coaster. Don't know if you're gonna be able to hear me, but it is time for dinner and we decided to come to this unhinged location called the Yum Yum Cafe and it's like a giant ice cream cone. I don't know, it seems crazy. After about 30 minutes of queuing, yeah, 30 minutes, I finally got my chicken strips and french fries. Here's your next Six Flags Day-ism. You cannot refill your all season long or all day long bottle when you retrieve your food. You have to then go wait in another line filled with 20, 30 other people, and then wait in line with your food, and then get a drink. Make it make sense. Even though getting dinner was a little chaotic, it was quite good. The chicken tenders were fresh, the fries were fresh, no complaints there. I think we have one or two more rides in us before we head out for the night, and I think I'd like to make it El Toro, and then maybe Jersey Devil if that reopens. And just like that, that is our last ride of the evening here at Six Flags Great Adventure, a ride on El Toro. And to be honest, we rode in the front car, which was I think the first time, not in the very front seat, but in a front car near the back. And that was the roughest ride that we've had on all day. It reminded me a lot of previous years when I rode it. Not my favorite ride, honestly. I would go for a middle seat or the front row. That is my advice on El Toro. Overall vibes here at Six Flags Great Adventure, it was okay. It was giving okay. The operational, the rides itself, like the operational crews, were doing an amazing job getting the trains out. The food service definitely needs a little bit of work, and the park itself is beautiful. But I think what really needs to happen is when the Six Flags closes for the season, I really hope that the two executive committees between Cedar Fair and Six Flags get together, see the potential of this park, and do like a Project Sparkle with it, because it really needs a lot of paint, a lot of love, and I think it could be a really top tier park in the world if they put the time and effort into it. Get rid of the Six Flags-isms that happen throughout the day, make the operations make a lot more sense. And hopefully you guys weren't too bothered by some of the ranting. I'm trying to find like the silver lining in most things, but I just want to give you guys a very honest review of the park and just kind of what to expect. Never take like any of the criticisms as like not being grateful. Super thankful that I'm on this huge trip. I still had a really good time today, but the heat and some of the like Six Flags-isms were just like a little too much at times. But hopefully you guys understand. Hopefully you guys are okay with some of the critiques that have happened. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I do appreciate it. And also, if there was a lack of on-ride, I tried to do as much as I could, but it was sweltering today. Literally surface of the sun. It was crazy. So sometimes I would do like 2 or 3 takes. Today I was doing like 1, just because it was so hot in the sun. So thank you guys so much. Oh, there goes El Toro. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you give it a like to fight the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you want to see more coaster content like this. This is Park 6 of 22. Tomorrow we'll be at Dorney Park, so look for that coming on the channel soon. Keep cruising and coasting. I'll see you guys at Dorney Park. Bye.